Hey, what's up, y'all? My name's Harkos. I edit everything around here at Two Beers with the Band podcast, and I wanted to welcome you back to part 2 of this great interview right here with Jed Harrelson. Now, it kind of goes without saying, but if you have not watched part 1, you want to make sure you stop this right now and go back and check out part 1. You'll be able to find it wherever you're watching or listening to this episode at. But if you have already watched that, then get ready for the rest of this great interview right here on Two Beers with the Band with Jed Harrelson. This is part 2 of the great interview, and it only gets better. So if you thought part 1 was great, get ready for part 2 right here with Jed Harrelson, only on Two Beers with the Band podcast.
And those glasses that you wear must show something I can't hide. I'm caught right in your fire. There's no telling just how far I'd go to grab the fruit, but that tree just kept on getting higher. Yeah, they say that you get what you give, but you never.
So I love having the sax very prevalent, but it started with my lack of confidence in guitar skills is where it came from.
So again, a blessing in disguise.
You said it.
Because the sax really, to me, puts your music in a different place.
I think so too. And I think, especially the guys I'm playing with right now, I play with 2 guys who play saxophone. I play with Jack Warren and Hunter Smith, and both of them play with a lot of feel and a lot of soul and just ooze with authenticity. And it comes out in every song that they play on, and it's really nice. It feels good. Even, these are my songs. I'm like sitting here like, that sax feels amazing, because it does, man. And the sax is just an awesome instrument, and I'm fortunate to have some really killer players that are down to play on this project.
So do you think indie artists that label themselves, I am alt rock, or I am, you got to put yourself in a box. You have to. Otherwise, playlists aren't going to pick you up. Yeah. People aren't going to be able to say, okay, I'm going to put you and these other 2 bands together because you fit in this genre, blah, 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 all that. Do you think that indie artists should maybe open themselves up to something that is a little different?
I think for me, it comes down to following the internal vision you have. I think anybody who's trying to take this seriously has a vision for it. And I don't know, that might be even overstepping a little bit. I think it's hard to find your vision sometimes. I think, try new things, see what sounds good, We've recently started incorporating the flute into our set. My buddy Jack, who plays saxophone, is also very good at the flute, and so we've been incorporating the flute a little bit into the sound, which is kind of new. But getting outside of the box and just, incorporating different sounds.
Have fun,
because that's what we're supposed to be doing. We did this because it started out being really fun. Or if we started out because we saw people having a really fun time doing it, which is like, I want to do that. That looks awesome. It all comes down to having fun. This whole industry is we're doing this because we have fun doing it,
Are you having fun?
Dude, I'm having a blast, man. I'm on an awesome podcast talking about the things I love most. Like, yes, this is, man, it seems like every day, knock on wood again. Yeah, I would say I'm very blessed in the sense of it feels like I'm able to wake up every day and live a dream that I was dreaming of as a 10-year-old kid when I was first writing songs.
So if you're not having fun, would you keep doing music?
Yeah. Until it was fun. I know that sounds silly. I think. That's a good sound.
I like it.
I do. Music is something that I will do for the rest of my life.
No matter what.
Unless I lose my hands. In that case, I'm picking with my feet.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
I mean, that's kind of that might be a little hyperbolous, but this is, if I'm not, dude, there's not a reality where I'm not playing music.
So do you think that mindset is helpful to say, no matter what, I'm playing music? If you cut a hand off, I'll use a foot, or I'll use my teeth, whatever it takes. I'm going to make music because I have to. Do you think that is the proper mindset? Do you think an artist should have that mindset to be successful? No matter what it takes, I'm going to play or write or whatever their art is.
Yeah. It's, like I said, I'll take it back to that quote I said earlier. It's like, if music chose you or not, because if music chose you, there is no other option. I've got a college degree. I ain't going to college, or I ain't going to get a job if I'm not selling tickets and making or playing in downtown Nashville. If I'm not making a living playing music on a stage, I'm going to be making a living playing music on the street corner. That's how much I believe in this. There is no other option.
So music found you. You didn't find music.
That sounds super cliche and cheesy, but
I mean, if it's truth, it's truth.
There's truth to it. There was a small time, just to get like some perspective on my life with music. I started playing and singing and writing. I was 7 or 8 years old when I saw my grandpa pull the guitar out at our family deer camp and play, and every person in the vicinity switched their attention to him and was just locked in with nothing but emotion and feeling. And in that moment, I was like, okay, I want to make people feel that. That is the most interesting thing to me in this world, is being able to, that quick, create something beautiful and to have everybody's attention on it. I love people's attention. I can say that with confidence. I do. But when it's because you're singing something heartfelt, man, it really moved me as a kid. And I said, Papa, show me some chords. Show me how to play, because I'm ready to start doing this with you. And he showed me a couple chords, started doing it. Dude, my first gig, I was 12 years old. I played once a month at the nursing home in my hometown. Me and my papa would go play for 2 hours for the nursing home folks, and I was 12 years old doing that, Even before that, NSYNC, man, when I learned what NSYNC and Backstreet Boys was, I was like, Mama, I'm Justin Timberlake. I'm about to put you on a show. Like, this is the only thing I ever really loved, man. And it's the only thing I really know back in front. In college for about a year, I remember saying, I'm going to go into finance. I'm going to be a business guy. I'm going to go to finance and be an accountant. Man, I got off track for a little while. It did not take me long to fall back in love with it. And, man, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. But, dude, I'm very blessed to be able to, live a dream. I got a beautiful woman that loves me, and I can go home to every night. I get to play my songs for a living. I'm very blessed.
Do you think the emotion that you want from people, do you get that? Do you get the same draw that your papa got?
Yeah. Man, there have been some very, very touching stories that people have come to us when we're out on the road, that people talk about. And I won't go into detail, but to the extent that these people feel like they've been touched with the music that we're putting out has been if it stopped right now, man, it's all been enough, but to see the way some people are resonating with some of this music is just, man, it's otherworldly.
Does that motivate you to keep going?
Dog, it's like a fire in my ass, man. Man, folks come up and they feel, after the show, folks will come up to the show, after the show, folks will come up to the merch table and, a lot of times they'll tell us, hey, I found you on TikTok, I found you on Instagram, or found you on YouTube. And some people have just kind of come up and just kind of dump on us and say, hey, man, I found you at the right time because I was feeling in a really low spot when I came across your music. And it's like, saved me, dude. This, man, people are resonating with it in a way that makes me emotional, because it's like, some of the stuff you're feeling about this song, I didn't even feel when I wrote it. And it's like, if it can touch somebody that's in a down spot like that, man, it's just like, we've all been in down spots.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, man, this one guy come up to me in Charleston, South Carolina, said, man, your music saved me. I would not be here without your music. And he cried, and dude, I'm about to cry talking about it right now. Dude cried at my show to me at the merch table, and I started bawling. It was just one of these feelings where it kind of came to fruition. It's like, wow, this stuff that was really heartfelt and created with love is moving somebody in a way that feel like they were enough to say that to me. And that's when I was like, that's just another thing that tells me there's no other option, and
so even when you hit those slumps where you can't write, nothing's coming, quote, writer block, that eventually it's going to break and something is going to present itself and you're going to be back to the pen and paper.
I wish there was like a camera to capture it, but there are times where I'll go months without writing. And it's this weird thing that happens. It's like, there'll be this like overwhelming feeling where you just got to get something out, pick up the guitar, and just something kind of comes out. I'm like, something's happening. I can't say it too loud because if I acknowledge it, it kind of goes away. And so I just kind of keep it going. And man, I don't want to say it's always going to happen because it feels like it's never going to happen. Sorry, I didn't say it too quiet, but then it happens. And it's this, even if it's just a couple words or a couple lines, it's like, okay, I know I can still do it a little bit, but there are these times where, I'll go 3 months without writing. I'm like, I'm a phony. I don't need to be doing this. I'm not a real songwriter. I need to go get a job. These self-deprecating feelings that only get in the way, but sometimes it just kind of comes back, and it's like this familiar feeling that if I acknowledge it too much, it goes away. If I just sit right in the pocket, it'll kind of come out, and capturing that feeling has probably been one of the biggest obstacles for me creatively. Because if I was able to capture that and use that every day, dog, we'd be busting hits out every day, but it does not happen like that, I'm still trying to put a finger on my creative process because it's not something that I can easily talk about. Even talking like this about it, I don't think I'm not able to quite do that with everybody, And so it's something that I am the most self-conscious about is my lack of frequency when it comes to writing. If that makes sense.
Do you think a lot of indie artists have that same problem, but won't talk about it, won't acknowledge it?
I think a lot of people feel that way. I think few people talk about it. I had a friend who I really respect in this industry as a songwriter, as a musician, who said that to me, who said, you know what? I don't write as much as everybody thinks I do. It does not come to me like that, And it took this weight off my shoulders. It's like, okay, this is kind of normal. This makes me feel a lot better. Thank you. I'm sure it's something that every artist goes through a little bit, is that phony feeling. There's a word for it. I can't think of it, but imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I think every artist can feel that a little bit. I feel that a lot. I think everybody feels that a lot who's trying to pursue this. But knowing that I think it will end up coming out again and that my emotions will be expressed. It might not be today. It might not be next week. But the things I'm feeling will come out in a way that needs to be put down.
So imposter syndrome is a huge hurdle in the indie music.
I think any artist who is honest will tell you that. Yeah. There are days where, I mean, I think in any industry, there are days where you're going to wake up and feel like, I don't need to be doing this. What am I doing? I'm over here. I'm far from my family. I'm far from my friends. I'm doing something that day to day looks like nothing's even happening. I'm just a fool who doesn't know what he's doing. Those days happen to every artist, no matter who it is. It doesn't take me long to bounce back from that feeling. But some people never get out of that feeling. And they never release a song because they feel like the song's not worthy to be put out to the world and stuff. And all we're doing is, it's a series of overcoming that feeling, blocking it out, putting it out. We might feel it again next week, but you having me here on this podcast makes me feel like I'm doing something right. You know? When there are days where it feels like we're doing everything wrong. You know?
Well, I think everybody feels that. I've had that feeling at both my jobs. It's like, man, anything I do today is going to mess up. Let me just go to bed and let this day pass and start anew tomorrow. But you can't do that. And I've told myself, okay, a few things have gone wrong first thing this morning. So in my brain, oh, it's going to be a bad day. I've had nothing but bad things happen. I've only been awake for an hour. And then I tell myself, no, these few bad things that happened, they weren't bad. It's just you wanted it to turn out differently. Well, you know what? I'm going to win this day. I'm not going to let this day beat me. So I have to try harder. And I have to take the little wins and chalk them up as wins.
A win's a win.
I was able to get all the way to work wherever I'm working and vehicle didn't break down. Weather is tolerable. I've got the right equipment to get me through the day. You know, and just I start putting my wins up against my, quote, losses. And, okay, well, now I'm beating this day. Now I'm winning. You know, and do you think indie artists, especially talented artists, should take that same mindset and chalk the wins up against the losses? Because I think, like you said, a lot of talented people, they start getting imposter syndrome and letting that take over their lives when it comes to art and when it comes to music. Now, their full-time job where they make their money, you know, whatever the case may be, they put that aside because they want to focus on the music. And then when things don't happen, they start stacking losses. And that's when they slow down. They don't keep pushing. They don't keep chipping like you were saying. They just kind of stop and say, wait a minute, let me step back because I don't know if I should be here doing this.
I think what's helped me with that is it's as simple as in everything there's going to be waves and there's going to be troughs. And there's another thing that I think about a lot is like things that set you back, obstacles, hurdles that keep you from your goal. It's the metaphor of it's like a bow and arrow. You
Yeah.
get all these things pulling you back, pulling you back, pulling you back, pulling you back. Oh my God, everything's going to shit. Let go and it
It sails.
surpasses all of it. You got to get through the lows to experience the highs. And the lows can be tough. And as time goes on, the lows get tougher, but the highs get higher, is the way I'm thinking about it. And I think any indie artist can if they can just think that. It's like, damn, these songs nobody's listened to, these shows nobody's coming out to. If I can just do it for a little bit longer, somebody's going to listen. Somebody's going to come. And it's just a combination of doing that, rinse and repeat. I think if every indie artist thought of it that way, it would be a lot easier. I think for me, I try to think of everything that's going wrong is just setting it up for it to start going right. If that makes sense. You get what I'm saying with the bow and arrow?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get in their own head about this, and it keeps them from succeeding. And I might just be over here spatting bullshit right now.
Well, no, I mean, obviously it worked for you.
We're still trying to figure out what's working for us. I think right now we're in a good spot, is what it feels like, at least.
You're in a place a lot of up and coming artists would like to be in, I think.
I like to think that too, because I am very proud of where we are, because of where we've been. Took a lot of work to get to where we are. And I think to people who are bigger than we are, I think some people might think it might not seem like a lot, but man, we've been putting in our time to cultivate this. And I'm very proud of where we are. I think where we are, a lot of people would be very happy to be. I'm very happy to be here. And I think anything extra that happens past this is just a blessing and a bonus that I'm just happy the world gave.
But you're still pushing to take the next step.
Right. Because, I think if I get complacent and be like, all right, we're cool. I can pay my bills. I ain't got much else past the bills, but playing music, it's cool. I want to have a family. I can't afford a family right now. I want to own a house. Can't own a house right now. I want to do all those things fueled by what we're creating right here. And so the goal has been met. The dream has been met to make a living playing music. We're just trying to see how far we can take it at this point, and what else I can achieve in my life fueled by the project, like we're about to start having a family right now, and we can't really afford a kid right now, but by the time that kid pops out, we're hoping that we're able to really afford a family. And if not, we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll figure it out. But it's all just about figuring it out, figuring out what works. And that's what we're doing.
So positive attitude and forward momentum are key.
Way easier said than done. Yeah. Knowing that it will go somewhere. I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing that I don't know when, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know it will get to this right here. And seeing the light at the end of that tunnel is, I think, a huge thing. You got to believe in that light at the end of the tunnel. We're in a long tunnel. This is a 10-year town, dog. It takes a long time to get there.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
But we are focusing at the light at the end of it, while paying attention to the little street lights on the way, like little wins.
Right.
I'm talking about little wins,
Well, it seems that you're focused on moving forward no matter what.
100%.
And that you don't see any other option.
Put it on my forehead right here. No other option,
Well, they say winners win. So you have to win.
I think we are some losers who are looking to hopefully win. If we can get cool with losing meaning falling short. We'll say falling short. It's okay to fall short, I think getting started in this industry is a lot of falling short. If you can just get a little bit closer every day, and we're trying to get 1% better every day, you know.
Hey, I know this is a great conversation right now, but I wanted to hop in real quick and introduce myself. My name's Harkos. I edit every episode here on Two Beers with the Band, but aside from that, I also have my own podcast called Music Making Sense Podcast, where it's all about music marketing, branding, and how to have success. Real success as an independent artist. If you're an independent artist who's trying to grow a real and sustainable fan base, then after you're done watching this great interview, you should come and check out my podcast. Every week I drop videos diving into tips and tricks that independent artists can use to overcome all of the obstacles and hurdles in this music industry that they have and start having real success. So if you're an independent artist, or you happen to know an independent artist who could use some help growing a real fan base, come on and check out Music Making Sense Podcast, available on all platforms. Links are available at musicmakingsensepod.com. I'll see you there. Now, let's get back to this great interview.
Where the artist talks about where the song came from, and then you're like, oh, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Well, damn, I really like that song because now I understand the origins of it. Or Tin Pan South, where you have all these, the people that write these songs for these huge artists, they come in, they sing the song, they play the guitar generally, and they talk about where the song came from and why things were said or written the way they were. And then you're like, I thought I enjoyed the song. Now I love the song because it freaking makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
And when you can take these songs that have, and that's why I've talked about videos with a lot of musicians. It's like you have this song, I kind of enjoy it, but it's a little different. It's a little weird because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you make a cheap video about the song and try to incorporate points in the song in the video? Because if I watch the video, I might be able to figure out why the song was written the way it was.
Yeah.
Then I might enjoy it more.
Yeah.
If I understand the song, I can enjoy it. If I don't understand it, unless you got some raging, bass line or guitar riff or something that stands out, okay, on to the next one. That's kind of the way I am about music. And I think a lot of people are the same way.
I think that's why there is some hesitance whenever I talk about that part of that song. It's like, I didn't write that song. That song just kind of came out because over time, I had to go to the bathroom a lot when we played downtown, and that's how that song came about. And I think there are people who will comment on the video, be like, the music's cool, but the lyrics suck of that song particularly. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't really written, and so, but that's one of my best songs right now. That's doing the best.
Well, tell the audience name of the song.
Are we going right now?
Yeah.
Okay. The song we're talking about is Bad Habits. I got bad habits, baby. The origin of that song, the way it kind of came about was we used to play the brunch shift on Sunday mornings at Whiskey Row. It was 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 4 hours straight, no breaks, which is another thing I could talk hours about, is the way musicians are treated downtown. Anyway, the way the song Bad Habits would come about is when we're playing for 4 hours, no break, we got to go to the bathroom. And so as soon as one of us had to go to the bathroom, we said, hey, let's play the Piss Jam. The Piss Jam came about with a bass line from my buddy Caden Kessler, who would throw this bass line down, and one by one, we'd play to that little bass line while one of us would go to the bathroom, come back. And I was always the last one to go to the bathroom, so I'd go to the bathroom, come back, and right about that time we'd stop, and I would just kind of spat some shit in the mic. Over time, it came out to, oh, I got bad habits, baby. And we'd just kind of just freestyling a bunch of stuff in the mic until over time it's like, okay, this sounds good. And then that's how that song came about. It's not something I sat down and like, all right, we're going to write a song. That song was not written. That song was developed over a lot of bathroom breaks is where that song came from. And it's one of the biggest songs that we have right now. And I understand why people say lyrically this song sucks. It's a fun song. It is. And I think it's, I've not really talked about the origin of that song very much. And so I guess people are going to know that it's not really about much, you know, but it's a fun song. And what's cool is when we're on the road, as soon as that bass line starts, they know what time it is. I mean, it's undeniable what that bass line does. And it's cool. It's cool.
Well, I mean, are you not allowed to have a fun song? As a musician, as an artist, I mean, is a fun song about nothing, is that forbidden fruit?
I think it should not be forbidden fruit. I think even me, there's some songs where I'm like, this is stupid. This is a shitty song, you know, when in reality, it was probably just like the Piss Jam. Just kind of developed over time, you know. And so I think, if anything, that song has helped me tolerate songs I don't love a little bit more.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, the Bad Habits started as the Piss Jam. And I mean, it's kind of a funny thing to talk about, you know, but.
Well, you couldn't really write that on the back of a CD, so you had to call it Bad Habits.
Yeah, I can't call it Piss Jam. Yeah. But it's a fun song, man. We get down to that song. That's our second to last song at the end of the set. When we're out on the road, we play that song very last. It's like, boom, and we're out of there. That's the last thing you get, hoping to get an encore.
All right, so if you're called back to the stage, what do you play after that?
After that, it's a song called Ali Oxen Free. It's a song that it's one of my favorite songs we got, and it's got a real big fat key change at the end and a nice mellow ending that ends with a crack of a drum, and it rounds out the night perfectly. And I like to think that the set list we're rocking with this year is like perfect. You gotta take one.
Yeah, really.
It's over time we're trying to develop it to where it makes a lot of sense for people who are coming to see us. And at the end of Bad Habits, I like to think that the audience is like, what the hell? He's not going to play Ali Oxen Free? What the fuck? I better raise some hell so that dude plays that song.
Yeah, he just walked off stage. I bet he's not going to the bathroom. Let's get him back out here.
Yeah. That another song that has been really a big factor in growth is the song Ali Oxen Free. We had a video on YouTube, or we had a video on Instagram do really well of that song. It's like it's a video of me playing a little guitar solo that leads into a key change with the saxophone. It's like it's magical when it happens on stage. But my man Hunter was able to capture that on camera at our latest Nashville show, and it changed a lot of things for us. There are people who are coming to our shows now who are like, I came because I saw the video on Instagram of Ali Oxen Free. It's like the biggest video I've ever done of anything, ever. And it was a moment that was, the video don't do it justice. The video does a lot, but it don't do it justice. Because when that happens on stage, it's like a shock through my body. It's amazing.
So you feel the music that you play.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
When you're on stage, what drives you? The energy from the audience or the music? Or a combination?
Combination. I think we always will put a good show on. You put us in front of 5 people or 5,000 people, we're going to play a good show. But something we're experiencing that's new is coming to some of these places, and it's almost like I don't even have to sing the song. Like these people are singing these songs back to us right now. And that doesn't happen everywhere, but like For instance, 2 weeks ago, we went to Charleston, South Carolina. It was our South Carolina debut. We sold 150 tickets, sold out the venue. Every one of those people sang every word. And that was a moment that not has almost ever happened before. But we had 150 people making it to where I didn't even have to sing. They could have just sang the whole song. And it was one of those like surreal moments. It's like, oh, I mean, you know, you can't document this and do it justice. You just have to be here to feel what's happening right now, because it was one of those moments where on stage we're looking at each other like, is this shit happening right now? And it was, you know, these past 8 shows, I always have a videographer. And at the end of every show, you hear me stand up and I say, you are watching a dream come true in front of your eyes right now. You're watching it happen. Dude, it's crazy. That's happening more and more. And I'm able to say that with full intent on meaning it. It's happening.
Do you feel like you've earned it?
No. That's the thing. It doesn't feel like it.
Why?
I don't know. And I think there are times where it feels like we have earned it. We put a lot of time and effort into it. I think it's the critic in me, and that's probably a bad thing that I'm trying to work on. Is when I see it happening, I'm like, do they deserve it? And who am I to even make that call? Like, I'm not the person who makes that call. And maybe for that reason, it feels like we're not deserving of it. Maybe that's a little part of the imposter syndrome. But it's one of those things that I can count 3 times specifically where it was one of those shows where we get done and we look at each other like, I'm a different person because of what just happened for the last hour out there. And I'll spend the next 12 hours laying in bed replaying the night. Like, almost where I can't get enough of it. It's a weird feeling because it's like we're a big step closer to the goal, but why does it feel like we don't deserve it? I know we do, because we put the time, we put the effort, we put the labor to earn the fruits from our labor. I think there is a little imposter syndrome that makes me feel like, is this real? Do I deserve these people giving me that amount of time and energy and love? And I don't know. I think that's the inner critic in me saying that we don't deserve it. But I think we do. I know that we do.
Well, if you didn't deserve it, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't sell 150 tickets to a venue you've never been to, having the audience sing your set list for you. I mean, if you didn't deserve that, that wouldn't happen. If you haven't chalked up another 2, 3, 4 hours to your 10,000 hours, are you an expert at your craft?
I think there are times I feel like it, especially when I get a few of these in me. I'll get real confident, No, I mean, I think being humble is something I try to also put in front of it. I think that also is another thing, is saying, oh my God, this is all for us right here. But knowing that these are all just people who made a decision to spend their time, energy, and money with us can bring that back to life a little bit. I think especially talking with people after the show, for me, almost does a lot more than people just showing up for the set and leaving. I think that shows that people are resonating enough to stick around for another hour and wait in the line that's at the merch table to come say hey and tell us how they came across this, I think that means a lot more.
So when you step on stage, do you keep in mind these people are spending their time, effort, and money to come see me play these songs? Do you give the audience what they deserve?
I say this every show, I try to leave it all out there. Like, leave everything that I wanted to say on the stage, leave every aspect of the performance out there, saying, hey, whether there was 5 or 5,000, we gave it everything we got.
You give 110% every time.
We'll say 112%.
Oh, okay.
A little
Okay.
extra 2% up there.
Okay.
No, but I mean, man, I ruin every shirt I wear when I get on stage because I'm up there just jumping around, expressing myself the best way I know how. I try to just do it justice for myself, which in turn makes it feel like it does justice for somebody who bought a $15 ticket, you know?
What's a ticket to your show worth?
I mean, I like to think we could be selling tickets for about $200, but a $15 ticket's a lot more achievable for everybody, you know?
So if I spent $200 on ticket for the VIP section, would I get my money's worth?
I think $200 is a number I may have just spat out right here.
What's the difference in between your show and me going downtown Nashville and paying $200 to sit in the balcony right over the stage?
I think you're gonna experience something that is, and I keep saying this word, undeniable. I think without me having to explain it, you'll see the show and say, wow, I know exactly where this guy's head's at. I know the intention he has with his music. And I know it just rocked my fucking world. I like to think that I've had folks say, hey, that $15 ticket I would have paid $100 for, you know? And there's some people say, hey, dog, $20 is too much for a ticket. It's different every time.
Okay, well, that's why we charge $15.
Right.
If you don't like that, somebody else will.
Somebody else will.
I mean, there's going to be haters, period.
I think haters end up being the sign of success. If you're not getting any hate, work a little bit harder. Make somebody hate on you. And
Yeah.
say, okay, we're doing something now.
Yeah.
We're moving somebody. Even if it's what's cool is we're getting a little bit of hate now, which is nice. Not nice, but it's really nice to hear people say, oh, this song's good. Y'all sound great. But hearing the guy say, this sucks. This really sucks. Why are you putting this out? I'm like, all right. If we can reach a few haters, it means we're reaching the masses, you know?
Well, if you don't like it, don't listen.
I like to say, if you don't like it, keep listening. You're going to end up liking it. Is the way I like to try to tell haters off.
Well, that's a much better attitude
Yeah.
than the one I have.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't listen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 1,000 other things to do, but if you take that attitude, if you don't like it, listen longer.
And you're going to like it.
Yeah, that's more positive attitude. That's more.
And I think I say that because I've had people will comment this on the video. They say, hey, when this video popped up, I was getting ready to fill your comments with hate. And I heard the song and I was like, quick backtrack. Wow, this is nice. And I'll say to those folks, I'm like, hey, what in you? Sorry, got hiccups.
Right.
What in you hurts so much that you got to make somebody else feel bad about what they love doing, you know? Even if the song sucks. I got some friends right now who are receiving a crazy amount of hate right now for what they're doing on social media, for doing what they love, for putting their music out. They get more hate than anybody I know, but they are now climbing this ladder of milestones in this industry because they ignored the hate and just kept doing what they liked. And they're, depending on who you ask, they're probably some of the most hated guys on the internet right now, but they are persevering through that hate and finding their true audience that's like really paying off for them.
The true fan, the person that's going to show up to every show, the person that's going to buy every piece of merch, the person that's going to comment on every social media platform. They're building a cult.
Yep.
For lack of a better
Building
term.
a true fan base.
Tribe. Tribe's a better word than cult. They're building tribe. Once you have tribe, that's all you need.
All you need to make a living being an original artist, you need 1,000 fans. 1,000 fans who will buy a ticket, buy a shirt, share your video. You can make a living as an artist with 1,000 fans.
So you've created tribe. Have you created community/tribe in Nashville? Just in Nashville. I'm not talking about everywhere else.
I think in Nashville, yes. We're selling some tickets in Nashville. We are. It's Nashville's a hard market to sell tickets to because I'm selling tickets to not just people listening to music, but people who are creating music also. It's one thing to sell tickets to a fan, but to sell tickets to another artist or another musician, that's even harder. And we're doing that.
Well, if you're doing that in Nashville, that's something.
Yeah.
What do you feel like? What would you say to someone who listens to your music and says, I like what he's doing. I like the combination of the blues, the rock, the jazz. It's kind of a country sax. You need another one?
I got a freshie right here.
Okay.
Yeah, not too long ago. But
Okay.
This might be my last one.
Okay.
But I think, I think I feel like I've touched on the subjects that mean the most to me about this project, at least, off the top of my head.
Your music, your art, how would you describe that to someone?
I think, and I say this to a lot of strangers, people are like, oh, what kind of music do you do? The music I create, it's soulful, but it's made with love, and it's the word I keep trying to come back to is undeniable. That's what I'm hoping that I hope that word comes to mind whenever I tell somebody about what we're doing here. Undeniable.
What is undeniable? The passion?
The passion.
The drive?
The drive. I mean, the passion, the drive, the music, like, even if you don't like it, I think there have been people that say, hey, this is not my kind of music, but I get why it's working.
It resonates with me, even though it's not something that I would, search on Spotify or whatever music platform I'm consuming music from. Is that a compliment?
Is what a compliment?
Someone saying, I'm not going to listen, I'm not going to search this style of music, but I do like what I hear when I listen to you.
I think to me that means somebody paid attention with an open mind. If it's not for them, it's not for them. And it's not going to be for everybody, I think the only thing I want is you to listen to it with an open mind. And I think most people who listen with an open mind will be able to find some appreciation for it, even if it's not their kind of music.
Okay.
That's what I like to think.
Well, why should I listen to your music? If you hand me a CD and I don't know who you are, you leave a CD in my car. I get in my car, there's a CD in there. Why should I listen to that?
I like to think that if you choose to listen to it, it's because you're open to trying new things. I think anybody who listens to this has to be open to new things. You know, if you're not open to new things, throw it out the window, you know. But if you're open to hearing something you hadn't heard before, press play. I don't know. That's why I like to think about it. I like to think that everybody can find appreciation in what we're putting out.
You keep saying we.
We are a team. We are a team. We are Jed Harrelson, but we are a team.
Who? Who's on the team?
My wife, my brother, everybody who puts time with their instrument into these songs. That's the team right there.
So even though you write the songs, you play the songs are your songs. It's a team effort.
Yeah. A very tight-knit, made with love team.
So it's all about team. It's all about nothing is just you. Everything's team.
I mean,
is that the right approach to music?
I think to be an artist, to be like we are Jed Harrelson, I am Jed Harrelson. We are Jed Harrelson. I think to take the approach that it's all me, I do this, blah, 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 is a quick way to get people wanting to get out of your project. What we're doing is a team effort, and it does take everybody. And yeah, the songwriting might start and really get into the bulk of it with me and the guitar. But everything else that everybody does surpasses that, you know. The song only gets about this much. Everybody else makes it come to life, put on a stage, put on Spotify. It's a team.
All right. All right. What else would you like to talk about?
I don't know, man. I think this is something that I'm going to keep saying for 25 years. These exact things I'm saying right now. It's just, I can go on and on about how much I love this and how much love is put into it and how we're growing every day. I mean.
So if I'm around in 25 years, we can sit down and have another show about your music.
I'm hoping by then we're doing the same thing, but on a grander scheme. Okay. We're not really doing anything different over time. We're doing the same thing, but just on a bigger scale.
So you have staying power. Man,
started with that too.
That was a quick smile and a quick head nod. Just 100% confidence in that.
It's going to be something that we're going to be doing forever.
And you can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot of work, but I'm confident that it's going to happen long term.
Do you think indie artists need to have that same confidence?
If you don't have it, act like you got it, at least. I mean, I think it's a big part of it. I really do. You got to believe in yourself. I mean, the movies say that. I mean, there's a million shirts that say that. There's some truth to that. You got to really believe in yourself.
Well, it seems like you believe in yourself. It really does.
I mean, if not that, then what am I doing here? You know? I think it can be as simple as that.
Well, all right. So, I have two questions it's one question with two answers. What are two questions and this is wrapping this up. What are two questions that you wish someone would ask you in an interview that no one ever has. What are those questions and what are the answers?
I think that something I wish people would ask me was like some of the first songwriting that like you ever really did. What was that? You know, like what were some of the first songs that you really sat down and wrote? And I've not really talked about it much, but I would say my first songwriting, me and a cousin of mine would make these parody songs. Like just like songs that were big. Remember Weird Al?
Yeah.
It was Weird Al-ish, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, little parody songs that, you know, like I would say one of the first ones that like ever really I wrote ever. There's a Tracy Lawrence song. You know Tracy Lawrence?
Yeah.
He's got that song, Paint Me a Birmingham. Remember that song?
Great
Paint
song.
Me a Birmingham. I love that song. He's from close to where I'm from also.
Okay.
But one of the first songs I ever like wrote and was like, hey, I wrote a song. Me and my cousin wrote a song called, it's silly. It's called Paint Me a Piece of Ham. It was a little thing. We were kids. It was like, paint me a piece of ham. You know, and it's like, that's where it really started, man. That, and then a song I wrote, like the first real song that I wrote by myself, it was called Ugly Girl. And it was about like, I'm with this really ugly girl and I wish she would just leave me, you know? And that's kind of what the song was about. I was like 7 or 8 years old, man. And that's like my first real songwriting was little stuff like that. And nobody ever asks about that because I'm a songwriter at heart. It's what I've always done. And I mean, that was some of the first gems that ever came out of my mind was like Ugly Girl and Paint Me a Piece of Ham and stuff like that.
So those are going to be bonus tracks on the next
Those will be some deep cuts on the album eventually, yeah.
A little B-side action.
Yeah, a little B-side that nobody ever talks about, yeah. But those types of songs nobody asks about, you know, the early writing process.
Right,
you know?
right.
And I think that's something that I really hope people start asking about.
All right, well, what's the second one?
I think in the future, I hope people ask more about my wife and like kind of the stuff that she has done for this project. I think she has selflessly put herself right in the middle of it, you know, from an early point. You know, she believed in it when we were playing the empty rooms. She believed in it before it was ever anything. And even now, I think she is a driving force in this. I think there are times where I can be self-limiting or self-deprecating. Not defecating. Self-deprivating. I think the sacrifices that she's made in her own life, being far from her family, being far from her friends, and almost blindly putting all of her time and efforts into not only the love that me and her share together, but this thing that I love so much and that she has learned to love. Not even learned to love, but she loved it at an early point and loves being a part of. It wouldn't happen without her. And she's like a huge part of it.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about?
You know, I just, you know, encourage people to be kind, be open-minded, and to, you know, if it pisses you off, try to let it brush off. You know, most of the time it will. I think there's a lot of hate going around. People just want to be mean to people. I want people to be kind to folks and be open-minded and to be accepting of others. And I think that's what we're trying to build a platform to spread that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, where can people find your music, find information about you, find anything?
Yeah. You can find me on anything Jed Harrelson. I have tried so hard to find another Jed Harrelson. And knock on wood, there's not another Jed Harrelson on any social media platform.
There can only be one. The one, the only.
The one and only. But, I mean, really, though, you can find anywhere you listen to music, anywhere you watch videos. Look up Jed Harrelson and you'll see what's going on with us. Anywhere.
So what should we expect out of you?
I would say this year we're working hard on touring in new markets, but also we're putting an album together to hopefully release by the end of the year. If not end of the year, really early in 2026. But we got a lot of new music coming. We're building a fan base, and we're coming to a city near you.
How many songs are going to be on the new album?
I think we're probably looking between 7 and 11. Somewhere between there.
Okay, that's little bit of a spread. You know, it's not 7 to 9; it's 7 to 11. So,
if I had to guess.
Okay, well, you know,
I think I want to do an odd number.
Okay.
Number. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, and on that note, thanks for watching. This has been a interesting conversation, not an interview, a conversation with Jed Harrelson and 2 Beers with the Band. All right. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.
Don't you tell me that this ain't gonna work. I walk around like this all day with you in the pocket of my shirt.